Let's see here. 2006. Wow. No.
Most impressive.
Oh, thanks. Ah. Shit. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to Gamification. After a long hiatus, I guess you could call it, and some feedback saying, hey, come back. I've decided to come back, and with a lot of news this week, so I'm excited for that. So let's get back into it because it's been a long time and there's a lot to talk about, especially Star Wars. But we won't start off with that, which is strange because I usually do start with that, don't I? But let's start off with the first subject content that I like to call new news. It's good news, not always. Okay, so we have about four. Four, one, three, four, possibly five news items. But this one, number one news. Number one. Wow, I'm rusty as I don't remember anything. The Last of Us Part 2 is delayed, and this is from IGN.com. I believe Kotaku actually broke the story, and then there was a blog post on PlayStation that confirmed it, and then I got this from IGN. Despite announcing The Last of Us Part 2's 2020 release date just a few weeks ago, PlayStation and Naughty Dog have confirmed a delay for the highly anticipated sequel. The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed to May 29th, 2020. Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann, who also serves as creative director on Part 2, confirmed in a PlayStation blog post. Here's the quote from that. Let me cut to the chase and get the news out of the way. The Last of Us Part 2 has a new release date of May 29th, 2020, Druckmann wrote. I know, it was just about a month ago when we had a big blowout for the game, letting media play over 2 hours of it, along with debuting new story trailer and revealing the release date. The positive response we saw from our community was overwhelming. You can feel the energy among the team members after working on something for so many years. It's invigorating to get a glimpse of validation for all the hard work. And you know what? They deserve it. They worked bloody hard on that game. If you played the last one, just the original The Last of Us, that was like a cinematic spectacular, I guess you could call it. Really well done with the characters, with the movement, the production value, I guess you could say, was magnificent. And that was like a late PS3, early PS4 game. Druckmann said that despite the recent announcement of a February 21st release date for the sequel, quote, we realized we simply didn't have enough time to bring the entire game up to a level of polish we could call Naughty Dog quality. The rest of his note read, however, it was during the last few weeks as we were closing out sections of the game that we realized we simply didn't have enough time to bring the entire game up to a level of polish. Oh, okay, so that was I'm repeating myself here. At this point, we were faced with two options. Compromise parts of the game or get more time. We went with the latter, and this new release date allows us to finish everything to our level of satisfaction while also reducing stress on the team. Yeah, well that's the thing, isn't it, where if they were trying to get that late February release date, they'd have to work through the Christmas holidays, and nobody wants to do that, right? Nobody wants to work through Christmas, and they don't want to bust their ass during those winter periods over there. Or summer over here. But pushing that 3 months forward gives them enough time to breathe a bit, get things together without having to rush it and possibly having a lot of bugs in it, because a lot of things can get overlooked in that rush period. While we're delivered that, it goes on to continue. It goes on to say, While we're relieved that we won't have to compromise our vision, we're disappointed that we weren't able to avoid this exact situation. We wish we could have foreseen the amount of polish we needed, but the size and scope of this game got the better of us. We hate disappointing our fans, and for that, we are sorry. We hope you understand that this additional time ensures that The Last of Us Part 2 lives up to our collective ambition as well as our commitment to the highest level of quality. We know the extra few months will add to what may already be an excruciating wait for all of us. We are grateful for your patience and continued support. Come next May, you will finally rejoin Ellie in The Last of Us Part 2. The last thing I want to say about this, is take your time. You know, delays only mean good things. It means more polish, means more work, less bugs, less mistakes, you know, and a more complete game. Nobody wants to have like huge update files as soon as they get the game, especially streamers, right? They don't want to have to get the game and go, oh, I've got to wait like 2 hours or, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours or what more, just to update this game with a day one patch and then get on streaming or recording or just want to get their hands on the game. Maybe they've taken the day off from work or something or from school and they're like, man, I really want to play this. So, go ahead, Naughty Dog. You've earned it. Okay, news number 2. More delays, but this time from Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, however you want to pronounce it. Delays by Ubisoft following underperformance by Ghost Recon Breakdown and The Division 2. I got this from Eurogamer.net. Ubisoft has announced delays for Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine, all of which are now expected to arrive after the company's current financial year comes to a close. All 3 games were initially due to launch before the end of March 2020, with Gods and Monsters and Watch Dogs Legion even receiving firm release dates from 25th of February and 6th of March 2020. Yesterday, however, Ubisoft announced that all 3 titles will now launch sometime in its next financial year, which runs from April 2020 to March 2021. The delay announcements follow news of substantially decreased financial targets for Ubisoft's current fiscal year. Reductions that the company said were the result of lower than expected revenue from Ghost Recon Breakpoint and, to a lesser extent, The Division 2. Just in the summary of that, they didn't make as much sales on those games. Speaking candidly about Breakpoint in a press release accompanying yesterday's announcement, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot explained that while the game's quality appeared on track prior to release, critical reception and sales during the game's first week were very disappointing. Despite its relative failure, however, Ubisoft says it will continue to support the game and listen to the community in order to deliver the necessary improvements. Okay, so they're saying, yeah, I know we took a big hit on those games, but we're still going to keep working on it and see if we can improve it, try and make some of it back. We'll see how it goes. Gilmore also identified 3 areas the publisher believes led to the Division 2 and Breakpoint's underperformance: the less than perfect implementation of gameplay innovations and lack of differentiation factors. How do you spell it? Yeah, I pronounced it correctly. In Breakpoint, and in the case of Division 2, the difficulty in generating interest for a sequel to a live game. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Where you're going to have those problems where, even like in Destiny 2, there was a lot of similarities from Destiny 1, except obviously it had a bigger campaign and stuff, and different raids and whatnot. But essentially, it was using the same engine, or the same level of engine, I guess, because it was already a high def quality, I guess you could call, game, Destiny 1. I'm just using this as a comparison, right? Where I think Destiny 2, even though it's still going, I don't think it's been talked about as much as Destiny 1 was, where it had a... Yeah, it just had a longer spotlight, I guess you could call it, where people were talking about it more. There was a lot more people saying, hey, yeah, we're still playing, come and join raids with us and whatnot. There's not, from what I understand, but I don't go into all the forums and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot more conversation about these games. Like Division 2, I've barely heard anything about it since it launched. It just seems like more Division, which they could have just put in the original game. Maybe did a Fortnite where they just shut it down and reboot it with a different, not different servers, but different content in those servers, like scrap the old stuff, put in the new stuff. Yeah, but it almost seems more like these sequel games for online services seem more like just DLC that they could have put on later, or like, hey, we've got plans for the future. This game's still going to be going on. We're just going to be taking out old stuff and putting in new things. Instead of saying, hey, pay another $60 on top of what you're already paying. Possibly an extra subscription on top of that, plus extra monetization of skins and weapons and other loot and whatnot. So, I think what I'm saying is, you're almost paying double to triple for almost the same game, right? And like double or triple retail, which doesn't really, like, that's a $60 to $80 game already, plus online services and whatnot. It all adds up, and when you get sequels to that, it almost seems like it's not worth it. Like, you could just play something else or continue playing what you had, unless they shut down the servers or something like that. On the latter point, Ubisoft says it will need to ensure there is more time between each iteration of live games in the future. Yeah, and that's what was going on, where if they only have like a year and a half between these games, they're not really giving the original enough time to expand and grow. And then we're like, oh, onto the next upgrade or onto the next new thing. Hurry up, come on, we want your money. It's not letting the community base truly develop, I don't think. I could be completely wrong, so let me know in the comments or hit me up on my socials or whatever if you want to discuss it more. That'd be great. In light of these learnings, Ubisoft is delaying Gods and Monster, which seemed more like a Breath of the Wild kind of game and not a live service, so I don't know why they delayed that. But Rainbow Six Quarantine and Watch Dogs Legion, that makes more sense because they're more online games. Watch Dogs Legion though... okay, so I'll retract that. Rainbow Six Quarantine, yes, obviously. Watch Dogs Legion, I don't know about. Because that's not really a live service, that's more of a single player game that you could do a whole lot of different things in. But they're saying they're delaying it so it has more development time to ensure that their respective innovations are perfectly implemented so as to deliver optimal experiences to players. That's just like the last news article with like, hey, we want a bit more time with polish, and to try and figure out what's working and what's not working, maybe get some QA testers in and some press media and say, hey, we changed a few things up, tell us what you think, and maybe we can tweak it before final launch. The company offered no indication of a revised release date beyond their launch in 2020 or to 2021 fiscal year, and there was no update on the progress of its multiplayer pirate adventure Skull and Bones, which was also delayed into the next financial year back in May. And that's another game that they've been very, very quiet about. We saw stuff, what was it, back in 2017, I think? or 2018. I can't remember. There's been so many E3s I've been watching. But and when they first announced it, well, this looks like Black Flag without the story stuff. It's just the ocean battles, and what's the point of that if you don't have the other stuff? Even though the ship battles in that game were really fun in Black Flag. But that's a weird one that's kind of not part of that story. But it's like, hey, we're still keeping quiet on that. That's been delayed as well as these other games. So I wonder how that's going to impact Ubisoft in the future, impact their shares and whatnot. Interesting stuff. They could take a dip, but the fact that they've been very candid with all this information could also say, hey, we're supporting you. Hey players, we're supporting you and we want you to be updated, we want you to be in the know, and that's with the shareholders as well. And then because of that clarity, it seems that Ubisoft could get some more support going, hey, yeah, since you've been so upfront with us, go ahead. And just like with Naughty Dog there, right? Like, a lot of people say, hey, take your time. Thank you for telling us. It's only a few months. Might be another year. We'll see how it goes. But thank you for telling us. We believe in you. Go ahead and make the games better. And then we'll definitely pay that 60 to 80 bucks for the experiences that you're willing to give us. Man, I've got a lot to talk to them. I have a lot to talk about this time. I'm surprised. News number 3. Disney Plus downloads will disappear from devices if a title is pulled from the service. This is from TheVerge.com. I'll just read it and then I'll give my thoughts on it, just as I have been. Disney will offer Disney Plus subscribers the ability to download films and TV shows on the streaming service for offline viewing. But if those titles were to leave, so do go the downloads. Multiple news outlets have reported that even if select titles get taken off the service, subscribers who have those same titles already downloaded will be able to keep them. The reports are based on remarks made by Disney CEO Bob Iger at Vanity Fair's new establishment summit. Iger hinted at pre-existing contract issues that could result in titles leaving the service in the coming years, but he reiterated that by and large, almost all of it will be there. If you're a subscriber, you can download it and put it on the device, and it will stay on the device as long as you continue to subscribe, Iger said. If you wanted to download 10 classic Disney films that may not have all been available at once before, you could do that. Basically fill all of your hard drive on one of your devices and you or your child can watch wherever they are. Yeah, that's fine. There's some stuff that apparently there wasn't much clarification, but I think that seems pretty straightforward. As long as titles are on Disney Plus, they're available for download. So it's kind of very similar to a Netflix subscription model, where as long as you subscribe to Netflix, the shows are on, but sometimes they might take shows and movies off and replace them with other things. But with Disney Plus, that's just more of a licensing issue where they've got most of the licenses, but some things weren't originally Disney properties that they've got on Disney Plus. And those ones that maybe some of the Fox stuff or some movies like maybe some Universal movies or something like that, I don't know. Maybe Disney got the licensing for that, and maybe that's only a time limited, right? But the thing about the downloads is that reminds me so very much of PlayStation Plus model. Yeah, PlayStation Plus, Disney Plus, PlayStation Plus. I'm getting confused, but it's like as long as you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you can download certain games for free, right? But you can download them and play them. But if you're no longer on a subscription, and you download those games, you can't play them. Or if you have those games downloaded already, but then your subscription runs out, you can't play them anymore, or you'll have to pay whatever amount on the site to play the games, you know, to buy that license back. That's the thing. That was an interesting thing. I thought was just a little something out there. There was more to it, but I don't need any more information of that. News number 4. Speaking of Disney Plus, Ewan McGregor talks about the Obi-Wan Disney Plus series. I got this from StarWarsNewsNet.com. They're usually fantastic with breaking news when it comes to Star Wars, whether it be the movies, the TV shows, the comics, and like other animated projects, the games and whatnot. Like, if you want to keep up to date with Star Wars news, go to StarWarsNewsNet.com. In an interview with a Men's Journal, which took place literally minutes before the announcement was made on stage at D23, the Scottish actor confirmed some The Scottish actor confirmed some details we had reported on the series. Let's take a look at what the Jedi Master had to say about his return to a galaxy far, far away. So I'm reading straight from their side, right? First, as you might imagine, McGregor acknowledges how tasking it was to keep the secret, which sheds light on just how long this project has been in development. It was initially a movie, from reports that we've heard, but after Solo, because McGregor was at the Solo red carpet, right? But I think after the launch and the critical reception and whatnot, I think they decided to hold back on announcing the Obi-Wan movie. And now it's retooled into a limited series. Okay, so this is a quote from Ewan. It's a effing massive relief, because for 4 years I've been having to lie to people about it. 4 years they've had this ready to go. They've had this the base, right? And they've had the conversations, and they've said, all right, here's the plot of what's going to happen. They've had that ready to go for 4 years already. That's amazing. I'm like, they could have, but then that's the thing, is like, they had so much trouble with Solo getting that ready, where they could have already had the Obi-Wan thing ready to go. That's weird, right? But I'm also thinking maybe Rebels had something to do with it, because you see Obi-Wan later on in, what was it, season 3 of Rebels? At the end of season 3, yeah. Obi-Wan's in it, but he's like the Alec Guinness type. Voiced by Steve Stanton, which he did a fantastic job actually as Obi-Wan. It was recently confirmed on the Star Wars show that the Kenobi series will take place 8 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, so roughly 11 years before A New Hope. His interview with Men's Journal took place before that confirmation, so McGregor doesn't specify that in the interview. His interview with Men's Journal took place before that confirmation of the 8 years. So McGregor doesn't specify that in the interview. So now knowing when it will take place helps us put his answers into perspective. That was a weird typo there. And he quotes, the storyline sits between episode 3 and 4. Yum says, dropping us a breadcrumb. The last time we saw him in the role, the Jedi Order was falling apart. It will be interesting to take a character we know in a way and show him. Well, his arc will be quite interesting. I think dealing with that, the fact that all the Jedi were slaughtered at the end of episode 3, it's quite something to get over. So maybe Obi-Wan's going through some kind of survivor's guilt thing. So he's a bit conflicted that, oh shit, I should be dead with the rest. I've lost my best friend to the dark side. I've been burdened with looking after his own son, like keeping a watch on him and watching him grow, protecting him from possible raiders and stuff like that, Tusken raiders. So there's a lot going on just on Tatooine itself, for Obi-Wan emotionally, like psychically, I guess. Also, maybe because he, at the end of episode 3, Yoda tasks Obi-Wan with, hey, I've got more training for you to learn to communicate with Qui-Gon beyond the grave kind of thing, right? And maybe he's gone through a struggle with that. Maybe it's hard for him to really get in touch with him. Also accepting his new role, his new destiny, after Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, it's just thinking about it. It's like maybe it's a lot more personal journey than just going, hey, he's on Tatooine for a while. Maybe he leaves and encounters Vader, so you understand how Obi-Wan's thinking. He's more machine now than man, twisted and evil. But maybe he doesn't do that. Maybe he just hears things from other people. Who knows? There's so much to speculate about, I guess you could say. McGregor will be 49 when he films the Kenobi series next summer, which is 13 years younger than Alec Guinness was when he filmed Star Wars in 1976. It's pretty close to the age difference needed, being that this series will take place 11 years before New Hope. Though all due respect to Sir Alec Guinness, McGregor looks a little more than 11 years younger than his Kenobi. So they may... Yeah, Ewan McGregor's still quite young looking. Not as young looking as me. But he's still not as overly aged as Alec Guinness, right? Like he's still got his dark ginger brown hair kind of thing and less wrinkles and whatnot, and his beard's still brown, so with a little bit of grey. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe they digitally age him up, or maybe they just do, I wouldn't say makeup if he's being recorded in an actual desert. They film him in an actual desert, but maybe some light makeup and some grey hairspray and stuff like that. We'll have to just wait and see, I guess. Age him up more physically. Yeah, physical appearances aside, McGregor acknowledges how people mature and wanting to bring his Kenobi from the prequels closer to Guinness's as the two iterations timelines inch closer together. Quote, I want to get closer and closer to how Obi-Wan felt while Alec Guinness was playing him. I feel like I'm grey and nearing him in age, so it'll be easy to do that. Pardon me. McGregor also confirms that the series will indeed be 6 episodes, 1 hour each, verifying that detail from when we broke the news that a Kenobi series was being made for Disney Plus this past February. Yeah, so Star Wars News Net did actually break it, going, hey, there actually is a Disney series. Oh, well, they broke it, but it was I still consider it rumor. But then the week later at D23, they said, yeah, it's actually happening. Oh. So much to talk about, guys. It's really crazy. Alright. What are we up to? News number 5? The first teaser for Netflix's CG Ghost in the Shell series. This is from Engadget.com. This isn't really a new thing, but I didn't know where to place it because it had some article stuff. Anyway, I'll read it. Netflix has released the first trailer for its upcoming Ghost in the Shell anime, alongside teasers for 3 other animated series the company plans to release throughout the fall and into 2020. A word of warning, if you have fond memories of Mamoru Oshie's 2 Ghost in the Shell movies, you may want to avert your eyes. That said, it's worth pointing out that the clip only includes some 22 seconds of footage, and as much as anime fans will like to pine for the days of hand-drawn animation, there have been examples of great 3D CG anime. Land of the Lustrous, Ghost in the Shell has always been about... what's more, Ghost in the Shell has always been about its ideas, and with Kenji Kamiyama, Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and Eden of the East, so he did those, and Shinji Aramaki from Appleseed, worth watching that, on directing duties. This new series is sure to get fans thinking about the future, the nature of humanity and all that. Ghost in the Shell, SAC_2045, will start streaming in 2020. So I had a look at this, and we'll have a look at this too. It only goes for like a minute or two, don't worry about that. It's very CG. I think it's from the production company IG, who did Naruto, the games, the Ultimate Storm games, I believe, and like Dragon Ball and stuff like that. So keep an open mind. I'd also like to point out that one of the directors, what was it, Kenji Kamiyama, who did Standalone Complex, that had 3D stuff in it as well. And if I also want to give a shout out to Ghost in the Shell Arise, that is worth watching. It's not really CG, that's like almost full anime, but that has some real cool, interesting concepts and choreography and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen that one, watch that. Really cool. So with that, let's go on to the next segment that I like to call That's right. Just what's on the board? Just random little things that I wanted to show. And with the last news segment I mentioned, Ghost in the Shell, SAC, so Standalone Complex. It's still Standalone Complex, 2045. So maybe this is... It's set in the same time, so maybe it's just a spin-off, or maybe it's an alternate universe thing like they've done before. We'll just have to wait and see. So I want to actually have a look at this trailer. Let's go here. Ooh, and let's have a look at it. Better put it on my headphones. That'd be handy, wouldn't it? Alright. So we've got some broken down city. Miami? Looks like a wreck. And this is on Netflix, so bingeable. Okay. Yeah, that's all you really see, right? IG Productions, Ghost in the Shell, SAC 2045 on Netflix. There you go. So there it is. It wasn't much, but I thought interesting. Could be good. Especially IG, they do some pretty good production value, I guess, when it comes to CG animation. Especially anime stuff. They do some really good stuff like that. Sometimes they do really good adaptations. Like epic anime moments. So like if you read manga and then you watch some of that stuff from IG, I think they've done Shippuden, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I think IG Productions actually worked on Naruto Shippuden, and they did some really good stuff, and it worked really well with the choreography was really good. Some of the facial animations weren't they great, but that was hand-drawn stuff. This is CG, so it could be a lot more improved. Yeah, can't wait to see it. Ghost in the Shell, if you haven't watched that, definitely give it a go. It's really interesting. And, guilty pleasure, I actually enjoyed the Scarlett Johansson adaptation, right? And hate me if you want, but I thought it was quite interesting. it wasn't a direct adaptation from the original anime movie, but it had a lot of the elements from it, and I believed it. You know, like I was like, there was a whole lot of thing was like, oh, it's been whitewashed, but they actually had a explanation for that, like in universe. So I thought that was really cool. Okay, so next little bit, I actually want to give a shout. Hang on, what's the next thing? Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. Shout out if you're excited for that game because that looks amazing. They actually have a jacket in store that you might have seen if you've seen reviews and stuff like that. They were handing him out to press at E3 and I guess GameSpot and stuff like. Sorry, not GameSpot. That's a journalist company. Gamescom in Europe, right? They usually have it in Germany. So it's a reversible one. It looks really cool. I want to show you right now. Let's have a look at it. Yeah! So that's the outside. And as you can see here, it's yellow. You can reverse that and you'll have a yellow one, I think with the same logo on it. So that's really cool. Except no pockets on the inside version. Yeah. So, get that now. store.cdprojectred.com. I'll leave a link down in the description below. And if you want to see that Ghost in the Shell trailer properly, break it down if you want, 20 seconds or whatever it was, I'll leave a link down below for that as well. Also, I wanted to give a shout out or like a required watching, I guess you could call it, of the E.T. Entertainment Tonight or whatever it is, did a panel and they actually had people watch 27 selected minutes, like they had a few bits and pieces of the Mandalorian TV series. They showed 27 minutes of it. It wasn't like a full episode or anything. I think the episode's like an hour. But it's like, hey, here's a piece of here, here's a piece of there, and we've all put it together. And then they had a Q&A afterwards. I'll put a link down in the description of that Q&A after the showing. You can't see the footage, unfortunately. But there's also people out there that are like, hey, we saw it. Especially, I'm not sure. I think Star Wars Explained went and saw it. Also, check out Star Wars Newsnet. They might have gone as well. I'm assuming they did. Collider did as well. So go check that out, and you'll see like interviews from Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and some of the cast from The Mandalorian. That's it for all the news and little bits, and now, no actual rumors or anything, but now we go on to the final segment, games out this week. And I'm just going to run down a list of what's out this week and what's to play, usually on all platforms. So we've got WWE 2K20. That's on Xbox One, PC, PS4. Street Outlaws. Street Outlaws, the list. Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. We Were Here Too from Xbox One. Eastshade, PS4, Xbox One. Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine. Oh, I didn't put a thing there for it. I think that was Xbox, but it could have been Switch. I believe it might be a Nintendo Switch. Castlevania, the original, has been released on PS4. It's not a remake, it's just the old game. Skullgirls, a second encore. Wow, I can't even speak. Skullgirls, second encore. That's on the Nintendo Switch. That's like a fighting game. Definitely worth it. Go check them out. Skullgirls, really fun. Farming Simulator 19 Platinum Edition on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Frostpunk on the Xbox One. Moons of Madness on PC. Yoga Master. That's just like one of those exercise games. I wouldn't call it a game, but one of those things on PS4. Dark Devotion, PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Medieval remake on PS4. The Outer Worlds, everyone's saying great things about that on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Definitely go check that out. Killer Queen Black on Nintendo Switch, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You might think that's like a old title, but that is a new title, and that's on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. That's it for me today, guys. That was a lot. That was more than I expected, and I'm glad I got to go through it all. Whoa, what's going on here? Anyway, if you have any questions or any comments about what we talked about in the news today, leave comments down below. I'd appreciate that. Let's start a bit of a dialogue, communication, or just hit me up on my socials. Join the Facebook group. Come chat and hang out with us there. Maybe set up some events. We'll see how it goes. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm always there, wanting and desperately excited to talk about Star Wars with you there. So if you like Star Wars, definitely hit me up on Jackosaurus. Also, just subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate that. Let's get these numbers up so we can produce some more wonderful content. Also, completely forgot. I did a reaction to the final Rise of Skywalker trailer. So if you want to see that, go check that out. I do a bit of a breakdown as well. So we can try and scrub through the video and try and figure out what's going on. Fortunately, I had no idea what was going on. But it was a lot of fun. So check that out if you would. Please remember to like the video. And have a good day, I guess. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for sticking around for as long as you have. That's it for me this week. Jacko, end of line.